My grandmother died in 1993. She spent 14 months in a hospital, connected to machines that kept her alive against her will. I was 11 years old and didn't understand at the time, but she begged my mother to let her go. My mother couldn't do it. And my grandmother spent the last year of her life in a white room with tubes in her nose, waiting for a death that took too long to arrive. This video isn't about my grandmother. It's about a question millions of families face every year in hospitals, in nursing homes, in quiet rooms where someone you love is asking permission to die, and about what your answer reveals about who you really are. Your father is 78 years old. He was diagnosed with a degenerative disease 3 years ago and is now in the terminal phase. Doctors say he can live a few more months with life support, but he won't improve. He's never getting out of that bed again. His mind is still lucid. His body is failing piece by piece. In a moment when you're alone together in the room, he takes your hand and makes a request. He wants you to talk to the doctors. He wants you to authorize stopping treatment. He doesn't want to live like this anymore. He's tired of being in pain. He's ready to go. He's not asking you to inject anything, to do anything active. He's asking you to let nature take its course, to stop fighting the inevitable, to let him go in peace. Do you grant your father's request? This isn't a hypothetical question. Research shows that around 70% of deaths in ICUs involve some decision to limit or withdraw treatment. Families make this decision every day in hospital corridors, in whispered conversations with doctors. Maybe you already have. Maybe you will. If you said yes without hesitation, you prioritized what bioethics specialists call patient autonomy, the fundamental right of a person to make decisions about their own body and their own death. For you, your father's wish matters more than your wish to keep him alive. The body is his. The life is his. The choice should be his, not yours. If you said no, or if you hesitated deeply, you may be operating under what psychologists call omission bias. Studies show most people feel more guilt for actions than for omissions, even when the final outcome is the same. Letting someone die by doing something feels worse than letting someone die by doing nothing, even though in both cases the person dies. But the question isn't as simple as it seems. It never is. Second scenario: same father, same disease, same request. But now you discover that your mother, his wife of 53 years, disagrees with the decision. She wants the doctors to do everything possible. She's not ready to let him go. She says where there's life, there's hope, that miracles happen, that you can't just give up on someone you love. Your father wants to die. Your mother wants him to live. You're in the middle with the power to decide. Whose wish do you follow? Psychiatrist and grief researcher William Worden documented in his studies that families who disagree about end-of-life decisions frequently develop conflicts lasting years, sometimes decades, after the patient's death. Siblings stop speaking, marriages dissolve. The guilt and anger from the decision transform into permanent resentment that poisons every family relationship. If you chose to follow your father's wish, you may have saved him from suffering, but you may have created a wound in your mother that will never fully heal. She may spend the rest of her life feeling that you killed her husband, that you took from her the time she could still have had with him. If you chose to follow your mother's wish, you prolonged your father's suffering to spare hers. You prioritized who has to live with the decision over who dies because of it. There's no right answer here, only different consequences. Only wounds in different places. Third scenario, and this one will reveal something you might not want to know about yourself. You decided to follow your father's request. You talked to the doctors, they agreed to withdraw life support, the papers are ready to be signed, but then your father has a moment of panic. He grabs your hand with a strength you didn't know he still had and says he changed his mind. He doesn't want to die. He's scared. Very scared. 20 minutes later, he calms down and says, no, he wants to go through with the plan. He wants you to authorize. He was just frightened for a moment. An hour later, he's crying and asking for more time. Another week, another month, just a little more. His mind is lucid, but his will is swinging like a pendulum. One moment he wants to go, the next he wants to stay. The fear of death is fighting against the exhaustion of living. Which version of your father do you obey? The one asking to die or the one asking to live? Palliative care researchers have documented that it's extremely common for terminal patients to alternate between acceptance and denial multiple times a day, sometimes multiple times an hour. Writer and psychiatrist Elizabeth Kübler-Ross, in her famous book On Death and Dying, described this back and forth as a natural and expected part of the process. But it puts the family in an absolutely impossible position. If you wait until he's absolutely certain, you may be prolonging unnecessary suffering indefinitely. He may never be certain. If you act during a window of acceptance, you may be ignoring a genuine change of heart. You may be killing someone who wanted to live. The brutal question, the question no one wants to ask out loud, is this: who decides what his true will is? You? Final scenario, the hardest of all. You authorize the withdrawal of treatment. The doctors disconnected the machines. Your father is breathing on his own now, but weakly. Each breath seems like an effort. It could take hours or days until he passes. No one knows for certain. You're sitting beside his bed, holding his hand. He's semi-conscious, drifting in and out. His eyes sometimes open, sometimes close. You don't know if he recognizes you. You don't know if he knows you're there. And then he opens his eyes one last time, looks directly at you, and you see something that destroys you inside. Fear. Not peace. Not acceptance. Not gratitude. Fear. Pure animal, desperate. He's afraid to die, and you're the person who authorized this to happen. He closes his eyes again. You don't know if he'll open them once more. And you'll spend the rest of your life not knowing if what you saw was real fear or just an involuntary reflex, your own interpretation, a cruel trick of your own guilt projecting things that weren't there. Can you live with that doubt? I started this video talking about my grandmother because this question isn't abstract for me. It's not classroom philosophy. I saw what happens when the family can't let go, when love transforms into a prison. I also saw what happens when the family lets go too soon, when doubt settles in and never leaves. There's no right answer. There's only the answer you can carry for the rest of your life. Contemporary philosopher Peter Singer from Princeton argues in his books that prolonging life at any cost isn't compassion. It's cruelty disguised as love. Catholic philosopher John Finnis argues exactly the opposite, that human life has intrinsic and sacred value, and that it's not for us, limited human beings, to decide when it should end. Both are brilliant. Both have solid, well-founded arguments. And neither will be sitting beside your father's bed when you have to make the decision alone. If this video affected you, if you're thinking about someone you love and imagining this scenario, the emotional reaction is completely normal. End-of-life decisions are considered by trauma specialists as one of the most stressful experiences a human being can face. There's no adequate preparation for it. If you've been through this and still carry guilt, know that grief research shows families who made decisions to withdraw treatment don't have higher rates of depression or prolonged trauma than families who didn't make that decision. The guilt you feel isn't evidence that you made the wrong choice. It's evidence that you loved. It's evidence that the decision carried weight. What this test revealed isn't whether you're capable of letting someone die. It's how you handle the weight of being the person who decides. Some people carry that weight with serenity. Others are crushed by it. And most only discover which group they're in when they no longer have a choice. I hope you never have to find out. See you next time.